Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is raining outside, so don't be surprised if you hear a little bit of thunder or see a flash. Yes, I will pose as the Lord takes a photograph of me. If you aren't subscribed, make sure that you do subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell so that you can be alerted when a video is up and ready. So today we are talking about milk. And where is Mokokeri at with milk? If you missed the video where I was talking about food, I think they tie in quite nicely together just to give you a bigger picture context with regards to milk. So within a child's development, obviously at the beginning of an infant's life, milk is his source of food. You start to introduce solids, and as he grows up, a bottle can be replaced with a meal, or a breastfeeding session can be replaced with solid food. So where we are now with Mokokeri, I already mentioned that he eats basically 5 meals a day, where it is breakfast, lunch and supper with snacks in between. So milk is no longer his primary source of food, but it still plays a big part in his development. Now, as part of, I would call it like the parenting support group or the parenting team, which comprises of people that I consult with, your sleep therapists, your lactation specialists, and all of those people, they have advised the following. So where we are at, they've advised that, look, he's big enough now, at around 18 months, she had already advised that one of his bottles of milk could be cow's milk. And then recently when we saw her, I think at around 20 months, it was like, you can scrap the formula altogether. Now, our personal preference as parents were like, we're not ready to take him off of formula, and maybe there's just this belief in our minds that formula has extra nutrients and vitamins that he might need. So we decided to come with a healthy middle ground that is part the advice that we've been given by the professionals, but also what we feel as parents to do. So as you may or may not know, Mokokeri has been on S26 Gold, which has now changed its name to Alula 26 Gold. So it's switched to Alula, that's their new name. It is more of the expensive formulas. And if you're wondering why did you go for the expensive formula, simple. When my child went to ICU, and I as a parent had to now bring him home, the formula they started him on was S26. So all I said at the hospital was, give me the names of the formula you're using, give me the brand of the bottle you're using, so that it's not a new adjustment for my child when he gets home and we're topping him up with formula. And that's how we found ourselves using S26 and using Nook as a brand. So where we are now, he's 22 months, he will be 2 years old in May, is that he has milk when he wakes up in the morning. He has milk sometime during the day, so let's call it after his midday nap, and then he has milk after supper time, which is before bed and bath time routine. So the morning milk that we usually start him off with would be a formula milk, and then the midday milk would be cow's milk, which we have been advised, please do speak to your own healthcare professionals, but also take into consideration where you are financially. We have been advised to do fresh cow's milk, full cream milk, not the one that has been pasteurized, that is long life. So not the one in the box, it's the one that's gonna go off within a few days. And that in itself has financial implications because it goes off quickly and you end up buying it often. And then the last milk would be a formula milk or a cow's milk. So the middle ground that we have found now, because the sister was like, you guys can be done with formula, it will be much cheaper. So what we have decided to do is that we found a compromise, and the compromise is that we discovered Parmalat Growth 1 Plus. It's like a follow-up formula type of milk, and this one is specifically for toddlers aged 1 to 3. And the reason that I love this is that they sell 6 packs They also do the same with S26 or Alula 26 Gold. They sell 6 packs of it, so when he is traveling or we are traveling, we don't have to worry about keeping cow's milk fresh, which can have its own problems when we have heat waves and going to visit family in Pretoria, which is very hot. So that is great. And the nice thing is that it also comes in 1 liter bottles, which he can go through quite quickly. The only thing that you need to be aware of is that after you've opened the box, you must only use it for 48 hours and then chuck it away. So we're currently in the process of trying to balance out when and how often you use the box Parmalat formula and the cow's fresh milk, because it is a temperature thing, and also with load shedding, it becomes a problem about how you're storing your fresh milk, how you're storing your box milk. Our fresh milk sometimes goes off. Why? Because outside of load shedding and 4-hour blocks, we have had power outages that have gone up to 15 hours. And while we're fortunate enough to have a generator, you can't run it willy-nilly 24/7. Milk tends to go off. And that's the reason right now we're currently doing the balance between the two. Also, there's some mornings when baby just is desperate for milk, and it is the quick thing. Now you might be wondering, why is he so desperate for milk in the mornings? Well, we regressed. We'll talk about it in the sleep video, but the reason it's relevant to mention is that he would wake up and want milk. And it is the thing that you do to comfort your child. And when we fell off the wagon was when he was sick. But now, especially after the dentist and the child psychologist and the sister all said, please stop now, it is bad for children. We're to go through a stopping, like cutting it all through the night. We allow him to sip water, so by the time he wakes up in the morning, he wants his milk, be it 5 o'clock, be it 6 o'clock, because he's not allowed to have any milk in the middle of the night. As soon as his teeth are brushed, he knows that that is it. The shop is closed. So we'll talk about his sleep regression and where we are with that, because that has its own problems. But where the drinking of milk is concerned is that it no longer forms part of him, let me say, his overnight routine. There's no milk anymore. And the trick now to making sure that your child is not waking up and screaming for milk is making sure that they eat a full supper and they've eaten enough throughout the day. So that's where we are with milk at the moment. We are trying to figure it out simply because, like I mentioned, there's travel involved, there's sending his milk to school. But even when we send milk to school that requires to be put in a fridge, like fresh milk, because the day is too hot, sometimes there's load shedding and milk goes off. So we are kind of enjoying where we are with Parmalat. Do we still have Alula 26 in the house? Yes, we do. Sometimes we let him have that pre-mixed, pre-made formula, but it is a learning journey. And you can tell when baby is sick, for example, and he does not have an appetite. Yes, he has 3 feeds of milk a day. Sometimes during times when he's not well, he will have 5 feeds of milk. So you also have to listen to your child. They tell you what it is that they want. We try to be super careful. For example, if we fetch him from creche and it's close to supper time and he wants milk now, to just convince him to hold off, let's eat food first, and then we can have milk time afterwards. So that's where we are with milk. I must mention bottles, because he has had his milk bottles obviously his whole life, and the bottles have gotten bigger, as well as the teat size got bigger. So you can have a small teat or a medium sized teat. I'm so glad we still have them, because there are times he hasn't been well, and we're able to maybe add a tad bit of porridge into his bottle because he's lost his appetite, he's not eating, he needs to be on medication. Also just makes it easy to measure. But at this age, Mukokegi is now doing your sippy cups. He is now drinking from bottles that have straws. All of the kiddies brands have amazing bottles. Even the Checkers brand, I think it's called Jolly Tots. You've got Tommy Tippy. We have one of their bottles. I've ordered a couple of sippy cups and bottles from Take A Lot, so that he can now go to the next phase. Yes, he is able to now drink out of a straw. So even when he has his Parmalat box milk, he can drink straight out of a straw. We are slowly moving to the stage of him drinking out of an open cup, but we're not there yet. Even when he wants, for example, some of my water out of my bottle, he has now gotten used to doing that. So part of the milk conversation also comes with what else he is, what kind of bottle he is drinking out of. This is Parmalat Gold. S26 Gold used to be its name, but you can see this is stage 3 for 1 to 3 years old. You get it in a ready-made box. This is 200 mils, which is about a feed. But don't be fooled, this is very expensive. I think this is about 14 Rand a box if you buy them singles, not 6-pack. You have to go to the big baby cities for that. This is the Parmalat Growth 1 Plus follow-up formula. This is a 1 liter box, but you have to finish it within 48 hours of having opened it. This is the travel-friendly Parmalat Growth 1 Plus, and it has a straw. This is the series apple swill pre-mixed with water. Koki's Nook bottles. We're still on Nook. No, this is not paid for. This is Nook. And yeah, we still use Nook. This is one of the cups to teach him to use a straw. This is silicone, ordered on Take-A-Lot. I don't remember the brand, it doesn't say. This is I think a pre-sippy cup, so it's like a training sippy cup. This is also Nook. It's been sticking to one brand. Not the cheapest, just know they are not the cheapest brand. This is nice, goes up to 230 mils. This is a non-spill cup. So this brand is Munchkin. It's a non-spill, so this is also a type of a non-spill sippy cup. And then this is just a normal kiddie's bottle, which he knows how to pull out and push. You can get this at Westpac, you can get this anywhere. If you're curious as to what it is, what else he's drinking other than milk, Mukokeki loves tea. He loves rooibos tea. You have the Fresh Pack brand and I think the Lager brand that do baby teas. They have different types of flavors. There's a chamomile rooibos baby tea. I can't remember the brand, but they also do amazing things. The doctor did warn not to have too much tea because it's not good for baby's liver. So just to keep that in mind. We don't give him Oros, we don't give him overly processed things. An amazing juice that you can try out is with the series brand where they have, it's called apple swill. So they already dilute it with water. So if you're traveling and you don't have time to pack and do all of those things, you can get that one and you rest assured it's less sugar because we all know fruit juices have a lot of sugar. And then another one that you can do is just make your child an iced tea, or we have a juicer, so sometimes we will make some healthy green juices or beetroot juice and we'll incorporate apple for flavor. So those are the types of the things that he drinks, but the milk journey continues and I'm sure we're still going to be on this journey for a while because he enjoys his milk and he does things where like he's drinking his milk and he wants to lay on mom and like pull on my earlobes and other weird things. But yeah, put your questions down below or your comments, or maybe you also have some advice just in terms of how you're storing your milk and keeping it fresh and making sure that it does not go off with us losing power and getting power and not knowing when power comes back. Comments down below, questions down below. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to do so.